What do you think when people say things like lease option agreements, they'll be a thing of the past in no time, it would never stand up in court, and really poo-poo the idea of doing a lease option agreement? As a solicitor that does lease option agreements, what's your response?
My response is lease options have been around for a very, very long time. They're not new. It's relatively new to residential property. It's very, very common in commercial property. So I don't see them disappearing overnight. Certainly if the property market has a little downturn with Brexit, then they'll become even more important as people have negative equity. They're an extremely powerful tool when there is negative equity. There's less reason to have them when there's plenty of equity.
But there's a lot of negative equity at the moment in parts of the north.
Yes.
What about when people say that they won't stand up in court? Surely you've seen that happen, maybe.
I certainly have. And when the seller has legal representation, then there is no reason that it shouldn't stand up in court. If it's an inappropriate deal for the seller and the seller's had legal representation, the seller's recourse will be against their lawyer, not the validity of the agreement.
So basically, people that say they don't work, won't stand up in court, they're going to be a thing of the past soon, really are talking from a position of ignorance rather than a logical standpoint. Probably because they haven't got any themselves, they can't find the deals, and they're just trying to bring down everybody else's tower.
Yes. And so they are risky deals, and that's why when we're advising on lease options, we take the time and the care with clients to ensure that they know what they're doing, they know what the deal means to them, and that the deal makes sense to them.
Exactly.
And if we don't feel it makes sense,
it's got to be a win-win fit. It's got to be. I've seen so many of my students do starting with very little money or no money, and then they build their portfolio via rent-to-rent lease option agreements. So I think when people say it doesn't work, they're right. It doesn't work for them.
Absolutely.
What do you think about lease option agreements then? You're a solicitor. You sign lease option agreements. You write up the documents all the time for them. Yeah. Is that something that you would consider ever doing yourself? And if so, why or why not?
I have done them.
Yeah.
I have done them myself. It's not something that I actively go and search out because I've always been able to fund a property that I want.
Yeah.
And I guess if it wasn't for the legal practice, I probably wouldn't have been able to fund the properties I want because I'd have wanted more properties.
So you're saying, as it happens, you're in a position where you've got quite a lot of money, which is great because you happen to buy properties early, you've had a successful business, you have done lease option agreements, but you can see that they're a very viable way to buy properties without using any of your own money.
From a personal perspective, I use options more for developments.
Yeah, absolutely. It's basically delayed sale.
Delayed sale.
Well, people like Alistair, and in fact, his deal was in one sense so good, you could argue that you actually told the vendor to change the terms, right? Yeah. And Alistair said to me, he said, you know when you said that Sam Hawkins really is there to look after the client, he really is, isn't he? Yeah. Tell me a bit about that.
We take our job very seriously. A lot of firms, most firms will look at a lease option. Most residential conveyancers, solicitors will look at a lease option. They won't be familiar with it. They'll consider it to be very risky, tell their clients not to do it. They don't know how to advise on the risk, and it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Then you've got commercial solicitors that are used to dealing with complex leases and option agreements, and their fees will be prohibitive to doing it on residential property. So there is, us being one of them, this group of solicitors and specialist property lawyers that are providing a relatively economical service for investors and people that choose to do these kind of deals. What do I think about them? There is certainly scope for abuse. And I have seen instances where there has been some abuse of position, abuse as in taking advantage of vulnerable clients, people doing the wrong kind of deal. So when we're assessing a deal, when someone comes to us and they want us to advise on it, we will look at it and say, does this deal make sense for this person.
Is it a win-win?
Is it a win-win?
Yeah.
Is it a fair deal for the client? And if it is, and they want to do it, we want to help them to do that deal.
Because there are investors, of course, that will try and hoodwink old ladies and get them to do. And that's, of course, the reason that it's a good idea from an investor's point of view to make sure that the vendor is legally represented.
Absolutely.
Because if they're not legally represented, not only could you unfairly take advantage of them, but down the line, if it goes to a court of law, the judge will clearly look at it and say, well, they weren't legally represented, it was an unfair deal. But if they've been represented fairly, it's been a win-win, then that also puts security for the investor.
Absolutely. In a lease option, typically, an investor will take it on, let it out, pay a mortgage, and make a very small profit each month. And out of that profit, they may have a large expense that they weren't expecting, and all of a sudden they've got no profit.
Yeah.
And so in a lease option, the money is made by exercising the option more often than not.
The capital appreciation
capital appreciation. And so if the seller didn't have legal representation and it's an unfair deal, and let's face it, your average option is very much in the buyer's favour because it's the buyer's choice to buy. The seller has an obligation if they're asked to.
But then you can put in place things like penalties for that.
You can,
You can also put in place what I often do is you'll give them your intent 12 months prior to completion. So there are things you can do to make it more of a win-win.
Yes, there can be a premium, and for instance, a premium might be a motivated seller. Perhaps they've got mortgage arrears and the mortgage company is taking action. They might have £5,000 of mortgage arrears, so the premium might be £6,000, let's say. So that there's £5,000 to pay off the arrears plus £1,000 to cover their legal costs.
But some people just don't want to be landlords anymore, or they don't want the property anymore. They're in negative equity, they can't sell it, and they are desperately happy to just pass that property on to somebody.
Not just happy. It is the best outcome that they could possibly have because no buyer in their right mind is going to buy that property. And that owner is desperate to get out of the situation. And I don't see any other viable way of them having a win-win deal.
So there certainly is a place for lease option agreement.
Absolutely.
And also, from what's in it for the buyer's point of view?
Well, from the buyer's point of view, going back to my situation, when I was buying property, when I was building up my keep portfolio, if you like, I was in a position to buy. Not everyone is in a position to buy.
Lack of finance.
But even myself, I would commit to buy a property and I didn't always have all the finance together.
Correct.
You then have to go and find the finance. And if you haven't got the means to get that finance, your financial credibility, the money behind you, your contacts to ask for private finance, the relationship with lenders, then lease options mean that you can enter into these deals with a limited amount of money. It always costs something, even if it's legal fees or whatever. A small premium. Perhaps there's some work to do on the property when you've taken it on. Perhaps you've got to cover the mortgage before you've actually got it let. You normally need a little bit of money to enter into lease option.
But it's nowhere near the amount that you'd need to put down a deposit on the house.
Nowhere near. And so it enables anybody that really wants to, if they really go for it, if they can build the right relationships, the right credibility, that anybody can build a property portfolio using lease options.
Starting with very, very little money.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for watching. If you benefited from that video, please do share it with your family and friends. For more videos like it, you can watch right here. And if you'd like to spend 2 days with me at the Property Investors Crash Course, watch this video, see what happens. But whatever you do, don't forget to subscribe right here, and I'll see you next time.